So we're here with Lyndon and Claire. They're going to show us around their farm, or mainly their farm sheds, see what's hiding in there. We'll finish this. I think you should come and have a bit of cake with us, Robin.
No problem.
We'll get this done. You guys happy to show us around?
Absolutely.
So Lyndon, we'll talk about the 715 first. So maybe start with how long you've had it and where you actually sourced it from.
About 4 years, maybe 5. And we did a little bit of searching around on the interwebs and joined a group called 715 Zone, I think it was called.
All right.
Memory
Yep.
serves me correctly. And just asked around and got a few replies and a few photos, and one thing led to another, and we ended up importing this one.
Yep.
I had a few prerequisites. I wanted the factory V8. Not saying which factory it was from, but we wanted a factory V8,
Yeah,
and we
okay.
wanted power steering already there. So apart from that, this is fairly original. Spent most of its time on an air base in New Mexico, so it didn't wind up being a fire service fire truck. It ended up being an Air Force or an air base fire truck. So,
And that was still pretty late, you said, didn't you?
yeah, released in 2000 according to the paperwork.
Yeah.
And then the owner then obviously put the factory V8 in it and gave it the desert tan type paint job, still with the government.
Yeah.
On an air base right up till 2000. See, I would have thought that would have been a
Yeah.
rare occurrence. We've got a few bits, and we've got lots of bits and pieces to make it more drivable friendly. I can drive it now, but we've got a later model diffs for it, and
Yep.
I've got a new top for the back. I've got a friend making a top for the actual cabin that'll blend into the rear. And, it's been stowing a little bit of stock in the back. Some genuine military stretchers there, ADF issue, probably something that you would have slept on.
No stretches where I infantry, mate. No,
Yeah,
no
just on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. So yeah, it is what it is, honest vehicle.
Yep. No, it looks tidy, and so some new diffs going in.
Yeah.
Better ratio.
Yeah, Humvee rims and tyres I've got for it, and I know a lot of people don't like them, but I don't care. They were right price and I'm new, and
Yep.
they suit the application. Yeah, I find it comfortable to drive. It's got plenty of leg room in it, and I like the flat windscreen. I don't like sloping windscreens on vehicles. I think they're cosmetic. It's got proper fuel filler, so you can strap it in out of a jerry can, like fuel filler should be.
We know you'll get out and use this and show it off and take it to Jeep events where
Well, yeah, the plan is to drive it.
we don't want them all hidden and never see them.
That is the plan, drive it.
That's good. Over here to this nice looking
That
TJ.
big unit. That's one of the rare farm pack TJs.
Claire's not going to tell us about a TJ. She's going to leave it up to Lyndon.
What is it, 2000 model, I believe? 4 litre. It's got the 231, I think it is, transfer case, and it's had a low range 2-wheel drive kit thrown in it. I strapped that into it, and that's handy. Get 2-wheel drive low range. We re-geared it to 4.56s, and at the same time, instead of re-gearing the original low pinion 30, I just grabbed a high pinion 30 out of a XJ.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good.
And
That's a good mod.
Strap that in there, and we don't even know how to open the bonnet. It's that reliable, you don't have to open the bonnet. So strap that up there like that. And that's the gadget that makes the motivational force to shift it forward.
Nice and tidy under here.
Yeah, little 4 litre. It's only got a few mods. We've got a bit of gaugeage. We've got a bit of a modification where we can fix drive the fan quickly with a spanner in a couple of minutes if you have to. And a bit of bypass filtration.
Get round and have a look at that.
Yeah, there's a couple of plates in there and a couple of bolts, and you just the plates index on the hex, and they shift forward and pick up the bolts on the back of the clutch, and she solid drives, and that gets you a bit of windage through the radiator, which is imperative to cooling. Other than that, it's pretty close to stock. The suspension's only had a little bit of a tweak with some springs, nothing stupid. Got the KC daylighters on, so when it's at night, and it's dark at night, you can see where you're going at night. It's pretty important. And you've got to take these covers off.
Oh, did that work with them on?
Oh, no, they're not as good. Probably don't attract as many bugs. Those nuts are the same nuts as the ones for the plate. So if you're on the
Okay,
track and
yep.
you drop one,
Good idea.
it lands in the grass. They're
Claire
straight.
drives this up to Camp Coffs, up in New South Wales. Towing a trailer.
1650, I suppose, as the crow flies, but we drive it, so it's probably similar.
One way.
Yeah, one way.
Yeah. So that's a good effort. Claire wanted to just take a bit out of the yellow, and she did.
Yeah, Uncle Rick, a mate who's a sign writer, and he made stickers. We looked at doing a sticker,
Yep.
and he said, "Oh, she's a big job and a bloody nuisance." He said, "Why don't you paint it out?" So it's actually bed liner, and it's textured and masked it out and painted it out, and it came up
That's
good.
good.
It
No,
just broke it up.
it does break it up.
Yeah.
Get my gauges.
Yeah, I'll have a look at your gauges. And do you watch the gauges?
Yes.
You report on the radio how they're going?
Yeah, that's right.
In a deep voice.
I get quiz.
A deep voice.
There's a lot of boost. A lot of people get confused about the boost, but the boost is actually a water pressure gauge. But we can make up all sorts of story about the boost. So it's got water pressure, water temp, and vacuum.
Yep.
And there's provision, but it hasn't gone in yet for an oil pressure
Okay.
gauge.
Well, they're tucked in there nice and neat.
Custom
Easy to
bracket.
see. Yeah, easy to see.
Yeah, custom bracketry.
Claire,
Actually, they're
Claire
stainless
can't say
steel.
she didn't see the gauge.
No.
Have they got warnings and buzzers and things as
Oh,
well?
yeah. Shoots arrows at you. And this is a fallback if the gauges stop working. Get this one out.
Yep. Now, a few people are probably going to start noticing that we've got a strap on the back and no wheels on the back.
Yeah, there's something unworked out. Something meant to go in that hole.
Yeah, I'm sure if you look long enough,
It's probably
it'll
an
work
axle.
it out.
There's a bit of service work going on with the
Yeah.
axles, basically.
Yep.
So
But that'll be all rectified very soon. Just waiting on a few bits, aren't you?
that's it.
Yep.
They're in the mail. They're
In the mail.
post.
Yeah, and you know what the mail's like these days.
Yeah.
From the US.
Nah, good looking little TJ.
A lot of fun to drive.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
As I said, Claire drives it all the way with a trailer. It's the trailer over the corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I'll just rip back over and show you the trail that goes behind it.
a genuine hallmark.
You might have seen photos of it from Camp Coffs coming into camp, but yeah, that goes on the back. So another one of Claire's Jeeps here. You lucky girl.
I know.
So I've had this one since new, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep,
2006.
2006. 2006 KJ Cherokee diesel and a manual. Wasn't too many manuals, was there, in the diesel? Just towards the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's a 6-speed manual.
Yep.
NV.
Nah.
65th anniversary.
Yeah. Well, the actual base bar's a TJM Type 17, and I made the hoop up for it. A couple of colour Rally 4000s with the HID kit in there.
Gauges added, Claire.
Yes.
Of course. Sorry, what was that number you threw at me?
266,535 kilometres. One way.
Service history.
That's where I write it, and then Claire has to transfer it into her paperwork. But
I'm sure it hasn't missed one, knowing you guys.
probably had a few extras, truth be known.
Yep. All right. Just going to sit here. Sure. I think Claire likes these gauges, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. She lives from. So we've got a bit of oil
Oil.
pressure, boostage, and a pyrometer, an
Yep.
ISPRO pyrometer.
Yep. Still going strong. Plenty of servicing.
Yeah, apart from the filter head update, and we put a 3-inch stainless, or I made a 3-inch stainless pipe up from the engine right back to the cat converter, and it's really stock.
Yep.
Oh, it did cop a bit of a suspension lift when we towed the van to Western Australia. I think it copped a set of Dobinson springs, 2-inch
Okay.
spring.
Yep.
Yep. They're not the factory 65th anniversary rims either, I don't think. I think they're in the barn.
Yep.
Next on the list, looks like we have an XJ.
Not just any XJ, this is the rare ploughing package XJ.
Plough package.
Ploughing package. It hasn't got ploughing tyres on it at the moment, but it's kitted out with the trusty high pinion Dana 30 front and the big Ford 8.8 rear.
No, where's the 35?
I don't know.
God.
This is a rare ploughing package.
Okay.
488 gears on 31, so it is definitely ploughing package.
488 on 31s.
Yep. That's to keep the engine up in the power band.
You might like towing.
40 litre, 6-cylinder,
Nice.
3,000 horsepower.
Gee, that's nice.
I think it's on a bit of liftage.
Yeah,
I think it's
good
got
height.
a bastard pack in the rear. I believe we made a second main leaf out of another XJ leaf that mimics the original one. I think it might have a couple of Ford Ranger leaves, perhaps a Ford Ranger overload in there.
Good to have that rear diff upgrade though, isn't it?
Very big heavy tubes,
yeah.
same stud pattern, slightly narrower on the track, but overcame that with wheel offset. Disc brake, that was a big upgrade.
Nice, yep.
Unfortunately, still got the piddly little handbrake inside the rotor. It works.
And gauges inside?
Strapped on.
Strapped on. Should we look at them?
Yep.
Okay.
Worth looking at.
Let's go and look. You lead the way.
Someone probably should have moved this mower out of our way a bit. So it's an early limited, so it's got a proper Jeep steering wheel instead of the one with the airbag in it. And anyone that's familiar with them,
She's a wood grainer.
oh, she's a limited. She's flash. It's a ploughing package.
A
like I said.
Ploughman Limited.
Yep. Exactly what it is.
Well, it's not as dusty in here. It looks quite good.
Yeah. It hasn't been going for about 6 weeks, so I don't want it to make a fool of me.
4 litre. Okay. I know you guys have got a little modification you do to help with the water flow and cooling in the XJ. Do you want to run us through that?
Well, I don't know about a little modification, but this has had the extra...
Well, it sounds little because I didn't have to do it.
Yeah. So this has had the return, the internal return to the back of the water pump restricted, back to about 50%. The water pumps had a few mods, impeller clearance mods, a backing plate, probably similar to a flow cooler, but it's ported and polished. Thermostat housing's also had the radius taken out of it, and it's had this custom stainless steel return pipe, which has also got a temp gauge in it and another port for a return line that's not being used. Over at the back of the motor is a bit of a key to water flow. Where the temp sender was, there's a hose comes out of there, runs up into a bit of a custom T. We've got a water pressure gauge running off that. We've got the original factory temp sender running off that, and then we've got a return line that's coming back into this return back to the water pump, providing extra water flow to the back of the head, and also a bleeding port just over here, bleeding tap. Because anyone that knows anything about 4 litres in XJs knows that they're a bit of a pig to fill. And that special tool cable tied over there shoves into the radiator hole and extends the height of the fill, and you put a hose or a funnel on it and you can fill them quite easily. And all the air just gets displaced out the bleeder there, and they're full and there's no airlocks. It's got the mandatory ploughing package bypass, restricted bypass oil filter. So that's a secondary filter, filtering the engine oil. It's also got the mandatory filter on the power steering pump. That was part of the ploughing package. I think somewhere underneath the front it's got another Z9 filter on the automatic transmission, all ploughing pack options.
How many plough packs they bring in to the country? You
One.
reckon? One? Is it one?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, you think you could make another
Oh,
one?
look, there possibly was 2, but I think the other one might have got destroyed in destructive testing, but
Okay.
I'm not really sure on that.
Well, that looks good. I like the ploughman package.
No, it's a good little vehicle, but it's not doing anything much at the moment, just getting started occasionally.
Yep.
It's sitting there dusty, waiting for the young bloke to come home. We dust it off, but give it a month and it'll be dusty again.
So we don't have to take the camera very far to find another Jeep to check out. There we go. So let's move on. Which one do you want to give rundown on first, Lyndon?
Well, Yeah, well, the short story will be the Japanese Jeep. This is a Mitsubishi clone of a 3B. And the purists hate them, but Japanese build quality is fantastic. And this is just a Jeep that's been built by the Japanese. And so it's got a little diesel in it with a windmill on the side. It's got a licensed copy of a Dana front diff and a licensed copy of a Dana rear diff and a licensed copy of a Spicer 18 and some sort of a Mitsubishi gearbox in it that I'm not really sure what it's a licensed copy of, but it'll be a licensed copy of something.
That's a 4-speed?
4-speed.
Yep.
And twin stick transfer case with the intermediate lock taken out so you can actually have low range 2-wheel drive. It's got a Herm, the overdrive guy overdrive on the back of it so we can split all the gears, twin stick it like an old B model Mac. Good little vehicle, it's economical, it's comfortable to drive, believe it or not. Rear springs are outboard on the chassis so it doesn't body roll stupidly. That probably inhibits its axle travel a little bit off-road, but it still gets where we need it to go. It's a lot of fun to drive and it's just damn reliable.
What I like of this one is the busy dash. Might get you to open up the other door over there and I'll come around there in a minute, but this really shows to me a cab that gets used a lot and a lot of time sitting in there.
That gadget hangs up there. That's high tech because it's got a suction cup. Got lots of levers and stuff.
Yeah, I'll come around that side there. Oh, just before we do that, let's check out these Camp Cough stickers.
Yeah, that's a bit of a trip we go on way up in the New South Wales, right up country. Swap a few gears to get there. There's a few hills up there.
All the gear you need for travel. Yeah, what size you say the diesel is?
2.7 litre. Mitsubishi Canter origin. Obviously it's factory fit. A lot of stuff going on in there. It looks complex. It's good to work on, but it's slow to get at anything. So I did a water pump on it the other day, which is a very industrial water pump. It took nearly 3 hours to actually get down into the water pump. Just shifting stuff out of the way. But that's pretty rare you got to do anything major like that. The big thing I like about it is it's just do your basic maintenance and it just goes and goes and goes.
Just keeps on giving.
Yep, oil and keep the water nice and clean and the oil nice and clean. And I did fit power steering to it. It's got a 60 series Land Cruiser steering box and pump on it, which was a huge improvement. Actually a hybrid front diff. It's a cross between a CJ7 diff and a XJ high pinion 30. So it's a right hand drop high pinion Dana 30.
So I'll tell a bit of a story on this while Lyndon's opening it up. Probably not a lot of people can say that they've had a Jeep since new. Lyndon's had this one since new. We did have the article about it in Jeep Action, and Lyndon actually entered a competition with Roundup product, I think.
Monsanto Roundup.
Monsanto Roundup, and some of the prizes that were on offer for people who filled in the form and sent it in was these great Jeeps. So he scored himself a 1-tonner. Great story. I think we told, what did we call the story? 30, how much was the stamp back then?
28 cents.
28 cents. So he reckons the Jeep cost him 28 cents. So that's how much the stamp was to...
Big investment. I remember standing in the rural supplies store where we'd actually purchased some Roundup for a bit of cropping that was going on, and I think I was about 15, coming up 16. And I remember seeing this competition. I'd seen the advert on television with Bill Kerr thumping the mudguard like this, saying that there's 5 of these tough Jeep 1-tonners to be given away. And thought they look all right. So anyway, I filled the form out, and then I looked at the box where you had to slot the form in. I thought, oh, looks like the form's the box and the whole lot might be going in the bin. So I posted the form away to Sydney, I believe it was.
Yep.
And then on the day of my 16th birthday, I got a call. The phone rang, and it was someone from, I don't know, from a Santo or anyway. Thought I might have won a supplementary prize, which I think was a knapsack pump. It turns out I won the Jeep. And I actually have to say I prefer the Jeep to the knapsack pump, but although a knapsack pump would have been handy.
And the call was on your birthday.
Well, it wasn't on my birthday, it was my birthday party. I can't actually tell you the date.
Well, that's that's
pretty close.
Close enough. One of those, but we'll go with either version.
So it was like a birthday present from Monsanto, I suppose you could say.
Can't complain about that.
No, not at all. So it's been a good unit. It's done a lot of Ks. It's just been a workhorse, but we've tried to keep it maintained. It's probably had more oil changes than I've had cold dinners. But nowadays it's just relegated to trips to Ballarat. It's got the factory V8. I'm not saying which factory, but it's got the factory V8. The 4.26 was in it for a long time, and I got a lot of respect for the 4.26, but in a vehicle of this size and weight, it's a bit underwhelming, I suppose, in this day and age.
Well, especially add a bit more weight to them and all the things we want to have.
They get heavy all on their own.
Yeah.
Look, it's got a few modifications, a lot of them subtle, I suppose. Probably the best modification was the onboard air system I built with the recirculating oil and the oil air separator, so it self-lubricates, and that provides air to my airbag supplementary rear suspension that's on a level valve like you'd have in a truck. So you put weight on it and it pumps the bags up. You take weight off it, it lets the bags down. So that's quite a good modification. Practical, useful. This is where all the controlling of gadgets happens. There's lots of stuff, not too much. Bit of instrumentation as per usual. And the interior is pretty reasonable. I think the seats have had a couple of new face trims, but the side trim on the seats are original.
Yeah, no, it all looks good and original in here. It's in really good nick.
Still got the original hood lining, albeit it's got a spotlight through it, but it's my Jeep, so I'm allowed to do that.
Certainly can.
Door trims are still the original factory door trims. Dash is the factory dash pad. Got custom dash pad covers here, they're very custom. Being a one VIN, from my understanding, most of the one VINs had the twin buckets, as opposed to a 1.5 and a high back bucket.
So you've got an extra lever on your gear lever there, a little red button.
Well, in sort of true Mad Max form, that was the turning on and off my Eaton blower, but it didn't work, so we just used it as a dipper switch. It's really good as a dip switch.
Good thing. They've kept their tub on the back.
Yeah, tub's done a bit of work. It's a bit knocked around, but look, the tub was a nuisance at first, originally when I was using it a lot, but I liked the look of the tub.
Yeah, they do look good with the tub on.
I couldn't sort of go away from the tub. The tailgate's got a bit of patina, so I haven't bothered tidying that up. The tailgate's actually had a flogging, but it suits the vehicle. They look good with a tub. They're only half a CJ10, I think, without a tub.
You've knocked a little toolbox in down the front there.
Yeah, we had an unfortunate incident in Ballarat. A drunk came through a stop sign and he smacked me on the end of my axle and jiggered up my passenger side axle and bent that panel slightly. So we turned that into a toolbox, and the other side, not that it had any damage, we turned that into a second battery box.
Yes, well, it's a great looking Jeep, and yeah, what a great story. So, very special to you, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, I won't be selling it. Everyone says things have got a price, but sometimes sentimentality is a stupid thing, but we won't be selling it.
She's running sweet there, Lyndon.
Yeah. I give her a bit of hard time on the handfold there when I started it, but no, she's a good tool. She's a good tool, and if we come around the back, you'll be able to see the airbag. There's a gauge around the back. It indicates basically what pressure's in the bags, and the vehicle only being partially loaded, we're only showing just a bit under 20 pounds. So when you've got the tandem trailer hooked on, you're loading a vehicle on, you can actually look closely and you can see that gauge. You can work out your ball weight pretty easily from whether your gauge is rising or falling as you're pulling on.
Okay, yep. Ah, good setup. Very good. Okay, we're in another shed. We'll see what we've got under this cover.
So,
Should I help?
yeah, pull that back on, push it up there. This is actually a YJ, believe it or not. It's just in the shop for a couple of modifications and alterations, and started life as a 4-cylinder YJ Wrangler, and then it got turned into a 6-cylinder YJ Wrangler, so it had the factory 4:1 diff ratios, and it's an early model Wrangler, so it's got had the tapered bearing, Dana 35 rear. So this is actually another rare ploughing package, I suppose. It hasn't got the ploughing tyres on it, but it's got the Dana 60 rear 35 spline semi-floater rear axle. It's got the Dana 44 front axle, because it's out of a CJ10. It's got the CJ10 style master cylinder, the bigger booster and master cylinder, so the brakes are all matched up. It's got the CJ10 spec T177 Tremec 4-speed factory spec Jeep engine, which is a diesel. Probably not factory spec to the YJ, but it is a factory spec diesel engine.
It's a diesel engine that came in a Jeep.
Correct,
Yes.
from the same era.
Yep.
So yeah,
We'll let the viewers work that one out.
This is it's not a long-term project, but it's sort of turned into one that it's my young blokes, and we started on it, and then he's away with work, so I've been doing the odd little thing to it, but he and I did most of it, and it's really the home run now. A little bit of wiring, a couple of fuel tank modifications with the plumbing, and should be a good thing. So
those who aren't up to speed with the YJ here in Australia, they were never sold brand new here in Australia, the YJ.
just sneak past you, Michael.
A few made their way here through Jeep Australia. They brought some in for some trials, converting to right-hand drive, just to see if they could get that happening up in the factory. And a couple of private imports, I guess. So they're very rare, few and far between.
If you grab the other side of that,
It's got me working now.
we've got to strap this on. It's part of the Jeep.
I didn't say I was coming in to work.
It's the front bit.
I just want to look around.
Sits up there like that, and
So
to those that are into details, they'll probably notice that the headlights are square, and that's part of the ploughing package, isn't it?
yep.
Oh, and the YJ feature as well.
Yeah. So there was t-shirts and all sorts of things made up back in. Anyway, that's the story about them in Australia. Not many around. So to get one that's got a diesel, a 6-cylinder diesel, and I'll keep talking even though he's got me around here. A diesel, some good heavy duty diffs. It's going to be a really good Jeep. I'll just give you a closer look here at the work going on in the engine bay. Some good work going on here. Should be a good rig.
It's a bit of a mixed bag in here, Michael, because it hasn't got the factory YJ door cards. It's got CJ7 door cards.
Okay.
You have to excuse the welding mat on the floor.
That's all right. A bit dark in here, but they'll get the gist of the dash, which I guess is between a CJ dash and what they see in a TJ. So
Yeah.
no, it should be a really good thing. Looking forward to seeing it and hearing it and driving it. If you give me a drive.
Yeah, we'll give you a drive. If you can handle the power after that big Cummins.
To see around here, I'm getting worn out. Lyndon just wants to keep driving me. So we're going to do this in a 2-part. So thanks for showing us around today, Lyndon. We're going to continue on with this. So hope you enjoy this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.